Hey, good morning. Eric Coffey here at scorecontracts.com. And today's video we're discussing what is a consultant. I've been receiving a lot of questions from some of my YouTube subscribers, some of the people in my GovCon Giants course, and some of the people in the Facebook group asking me about how do you get started, how did I get started, and they want to learn about being a consultant. I do understand that many of you out here are working a full-time job and you're trying to kind of do this stuff on the side. I've already stressed in some of my videos in the past that it is really difficult to do it on the side. Not impossible, but it is really difficult. But nevertheless, for those out there who want to try and who are excited and have the passion, the commitment, and the desire to become a consultant in the marketplace, it does pay very handsomely. You're going to make an easy six-figure salary and probably higher than that, depending upon the number of companies that you serve and the value that you bring. So I don't want to discourage anyone from making the effort, making the attempt. I do want to provide the information, which is my job, and that's what I'm here to do, is to serve you guys, and I love doing it. So this video is in dedication to those persons who are sending emails. Hopefully I can try and answer the majority of your questions. It's going to be like an FAQ today based on the emails that I've been receiving and some of the feedback that I've been receiving from all of the content that I've produced. So let's just go ahead and get started. Number one, so what is a consultant? My definition of consultant is someone, you're like kind of a sales rep for a particular firm. However, the difference is you don't represent only one firm. You can represent multiple firms at the time. And then also you are your own entity. So you're not owned by that company. You get to go and come as you please, and you're providing a service to them. That's what makes you different from a salesperson and makes you a consultant. Again, this is my opinion, this is my words, this is the way that I view it. It's not the legal or Wikipedia definition. This is Eric Coffey, scorecontracts.com. This is my definition of how I view a consultant. So again, a consultant is like a salesperson, an outside sales rep for a particular company, for a particular firm. So the difference is, like I said, that you're not locked into that one firm. When I first got started, I represented two companies at one point. So I was going after contracts for two different companies, and I had two different business cards with two different company names on it. Number two, how do you become a consultant? The first thing you have to do, and we all know this, you've got to go and start off here. Let's go over to sambiz.org, and I don't care whatever your goal is, whatever your plan is, whatever you're trying to do, make sure you get registered first, please. I've had too many people who are not registered organizations, and they're reaching out to me, and personally, I don't want to hear from you. If you're not registered to do business, please do not call me, because I can't serve you in any capacity. There's really nothing I can do for you. I can't provide for you any services. I can't provide you a reference. It's really difficult because you're not even a legal entity. So unless you become a legal entity, our government is not going to reward you because you're not actually serving anyone. So the first thing that all of you have to do is create yourself an LLC structure. And you can go to any of your Department of State websites. I chose Florida Department of State, and this is sambiz.org. But if you go to Department of Corporations, this is your website. Same thing in Georgia, same thing in Texas. I'm sure, like, really easily. I've never done this before. Just Texas Department of State. So you got Texas Secretary of State. This gives some information about the office. That's not where you want to go. So let's Texas LLC. If you do an LLC search, this probably tells you where you can actually file. Secretary of State. So it looks like it's here, business filings, okay? So here's your business filings for Texas. Business nonprofit, trademark filings, corporations. So this is where you would go in Texas to file your organization. So every single state has this. You can go in and you can file yourself. You don't need an attorney to do this. You can file yourself here, your limited liability company. Every state. And in Florida, it just has to be called Division of Corporations, but it's under Florida Department of State. Here in Texas, Secretary of State. Very similar. All right. So the very first thing that you need to do in order to be consulted is to form your LLC. If you don't create your LLC, you're not considered a legal entity. If you create a sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. So you've got to form an S Corp, a C Corp, or an LLC. One of those structures that is considered an actual entity, a legal entity. I'm going to say this. America is one of the best countries to live in. Why? Because we do believe in capitalism, and capitalism is for companies, right? And so if you have a company, you're going to be rewarded by saving on your taxes, by how, investing your money. There's certain benefits to having a corporation. So make sure you do that. It's about $125 here in Florida, or $160, give or take, but it's less than $200. And I'm sure every state's the same way. It's under $200 and you can get started. So that's the first thing that you need to do to become a consultant, is become an LLC. Now, the next thing, what NAICS code do I need? The reason why we talk about becoming a consultant is because you are someone, you're looking to either change your career, you're looking to get into the government marketplace, maybe you're looking to become a prime contractor one day, maybe you're looking to, make extra money or make a lot more money. By becoming a consultant, this will help you achieve that goal. I believe so as well. In order to do that, in an effort to try and help you, the NAICS code is not going to be so important in your particular case. And the reason why is because you are not the actual entity. So you are not the actual company that we're going to be representing. You're going to be representing someone else's company. Remember, you're an outside sales rep. So the NAICS code for you has nothing to relate to consultant, by the way, because I've had someone ask me that question. It's going to be more along the lines of what industry are you going to be working in and serving. So you should have an idea of who is the person or the company that you're looking to serve, who your customers are. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but you should have an idea of who do you want to serve and what industry, what marketplace that's in. The specific code doesn't really matter in your instance because, again, your information is not going to be reflected on any documentation. So the NAICS code that you choose is really kind of irrelevant at this point. Now, how do you find customers? I created a video once before. There's several ways that you can find customers. One of the ways in construction, we have here a construction blue book. There it is. It's called the bluebook.com. And here, in my particular field in construction, you can go on and you can search for contractors in your area. And you can find out good contractors. So look, here, drywall contractors, electrical contractors, plumbing contractors, mechanical, sheet metal. And by the way, this is a great way, if you have a project that you want to do, this is a great way to go ahead and identify people. I know Angie's List gets a lot of airtime and TV time and commercial stuff, but the bluebook.com is actually a much better resource to find licensed, certified, and approved contractors. It's a great place to go and navigate and find people to do your construction projects. So whatever you have to do, even if you're talking about fixing up your home, making repairs, it's a great place. But for the purpose of today, how do you find customers? You can go through the Blue Book. Let's say mechanical contractors, and you'll see here's a list of mechanical contractors. So what I would do in construction, you can use the Blue Book, and here's a list of companies who provide these different services. What I always say is you can do one of two approaches. If you know someone, for example, who is a successful business owner, you can reach out to that person. Or if you don't know someone that's a successful business person, let's say you see an opportunity that's in your wheelhouse or that you have experience with, you can reach out to one of these companies and offer to help work with them in an effort to try and get this contract on their behalf. And then in exchange, you would like to learn and then make a couple dollars in the process, and you'd like to be their government consultant. There's two ways to look at that. Don't worry, I'm going to show you examples of how we can do this as well. Let's go over here. This is actually for my GovCon Giants training course. This is day 12 implementation. So some of the ideas for product or service. What are your areas of expertise? Do you have a family member or friend with that expertise? Do you have a family member or friend looking to grow a business? Is there an industry in which you believe change is needed? Where do you see opportunity? All right. So first thing, we're talking about where's your area of expertise, product or service, friends or family. Maybe you know someone. Maybe you can ask around and see who do you know, which friends of yours, their father, their parents, maybe one of their college roommates or alumni has a successful insurance company, a successful business, and so you want to represent them and help them find government contracts. Same thing with a friend or family member's business, and then where do you see opportunity at? That's some of the things that, ways in which you can help identify customers. Now, let's assume you don't know anybody, you don't have anybody, you don't have an expertise, you don't have an area that you want to service. So then what I would do is you can do the reverse, which is you can look for opportunities and then find people who fit into those opportunities. You can start off with, something that you have maybe just have an interest in. All right. Maybe you have an interest in technology or computers. So then you can look at opportunities in computers and then work reverse and find companies who provide those services and then reach out to them about helping them get some of these contracts. Align yourself with that company. But you've got to have some sort of basis in order to start. You have to have an idea of, what kind of product or service that you want to sell and or represent. And then once you have an idea of what kind of product or service that you'd like to sell or represent, then at that point you can, approach companies and people and persons and, like I said, find the organizations that represent those entities. So, for example, in construction, we have like National Builders Group, we have Latin Builders Association. So there's different organizations that represent those entities. Let's say we're talking about health clubs and spas. They have what's called IRSA. And IRSA is, So IRSA here is the International Health Racquet Club Sports Association. This represents fitness centers all across America. So if you were representing fitness centers, then you would go to IRSA to find a list of fitness centers and fitness center owners. So again, same thing. If you're representing uniforms, if you're representing clothing, what is the national organization that represents clothing or the national organization that represents food product distributors? Because those are the people that you want to get to. You need to go participate in that national organization, attend an event and start meeting some of the owners and let them know that you're a government consultant and you want to help represent them in terms of pursuing government opportunities. Okay. So that's where I would start to find customers. Whose information should I use in my capability statement? You are the outside sales rep. So you're going to be helping your client develop a capability statement with their information on it, which for you and I, the other consultant, it's wonderful because you don't actually have to develop the past performance. You don't have to have the experience and none of that stuff. The person who you're representing, and again, you want the best person you can get access to. You want the best qualified company because that's going to make your job a lot easier. And it's also going to make you much more successful because why? If you're representing a firm that does $5 million, $7 million, $10 million a year, it's going to be very easy to win them contracts within the government arena because in a lot of aspects, they're already going to be qualified for the opportunities that you're pursuing. You want to make sure that you can represent the best company, entity that you can get your hands on. I've met with some of my fellow subscribers and talked with them on the phone. They say, well, my brother has a company. Yes, if your brother has a company, that's great. But if his company is not successful, and when I mean successful, I don't mean like, yeah, he's making $100,000 a year, but that doesn't mean he's going to help be successful for you because you want to represent, that $100,000 doesn't transfer over to you. Yeah, your business could make $100,000 for you personally, but you can't employ anybody else. So it's kind of like being self-employed as opposed to running an actual business or an organization. That's the difference. In the case where the company's doing $30 million, a company that does $30 million a year is employing people. And in fact, a company that's doing $30 million a year probably has 10 employees that make $100,000. So there's room in there, there's opportunity and room for you to create additional value and make some money as well. So pick the best possible company you can choose. And then their information is going to go in your capability statement. And then when you're going out and you're talking to government officials, you know how good it feels to go down, sit down with somebody with a capability statement and say, boom, this is me. This is what we do. This is our company. We've been around since 1982. We did $32 million last year. We have food products that we can distribute across every country in the United States within 48 hours. They're going to say, where have you been my whole life? You get me? That's the difference. If you go out and represent a startup food company that's just getting started, that doesn't have any suppliers, that doesn't have any reach, doesn't have any spread around the United States, they have no distributors, you're going to go sit down in front of a contracting officer, you're going to say, yeah, my name's Joe, and I'm here today. I represent a new company, and we're just getting started. And great, Joe, nice to meet you. Listen, Joe, can you guys deliver Washington, D.C. within a week? Well, I'm not really quite sure about that. I have to get back to you and see. You see the difference? When you're representing someone that's powerful, that has a brand, that has history behind them, it gives you confidence, and it makes your job a whole lot easier when you're sitting down with someone. You have the confidence, and you can stand up and speak with vigor and energy, and also at the same time, know that you're going to deliver tremendous value to the government. And that's what they want to know. That's what they want to see. Remember, the government agent on the other side is lazy. They get paid no matter what they do, and so they could care less. And so they're risk averse. They're not going to take a chance at you jeopardizing them from playing on Facebook and Instagram to go have to deal with your foolishness because you hired a subpar company. You're going to let them know, hey, listen, when I come in here and I bring this team, you will have no sleepless nights. You're going to be able to rest like a baby. You're going to be able to go on vacation and come back and the thing is going to be done. And all your paperwork is going to be 100% accurate. All your billings will be 100% accurate. We're going to deliver it on time and we're going to deliver it when you want it. And if you call us the last minute and need something extra, we'll be there for that too. And that's how you want to speak when you're sitting down in front of a person. And you can only speak like that when the person who you're representing, the firm that you're representing, is a monster. When they're the number one, they're the big dog. They have their stuff together. They can act on a moment's notice. They've got teams, they've got suppliers, they've got distributors, they've got credits. They have funds. You can go to them and take on a $2 million order and not have to put up one freaking penny because they've already got all that stuff covered for you. So you don't have to worry. You can rest assured and get all the materials, everything you need, all the canned food items, the dog foods, the packaged items. Get it shipped in crates, barrels, packages, and containers. Get it delivered wherever the hell the government wants it, whenever they want it, and then turn around and send the government a bill and don't worry about having to get called because you can't pay your $150,000 delivery that was just shipped. Got it? Okay, moving on. How do I charge? Now, normally what I do is I charge for a percent of the profit. And the reason why I do that is because a lot of times it's really hard to take a percent of the overall job because depending upon the size, scope, and scale of the job, the profit margins vary. Some jobs may make 5% profit, some jobs may make 25% or 35% profit. So normally what I do is I'll charge 25% of the profit of the job that we do for landing them the contract. And that seems to be a very fair arrangement for most companies. Again, depending upon the size, scope, scale of the contract, you can go up or you can go down with that number, whatever seems right for you. If you've put in a lot of effort, then you may want to charge more. If you put in less effort, you may want to charge less. Again, same thing, in retrospect, if the contract is, if the profit is hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $500,000, you may want to charge less. If the profit is 30,000, 40,000, you may want to charge more. So it depends. But normally what I do is I start off with my starting point is 25% of the profit of the job. Then rewards that company who actually fulfilled the obligations. They get the majority slice, and then I get just a small slice for my efforts and my time. And then hopefully we can develop a positive relationship and move forward, and then continue having, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get too greedy and then try to take all the money, because then the company's going to feel like they're doing all the work and then you're making all the money, like as a one person rep. Obviously that won't be fair and you won't have a long-term relationship. But to develop a long-term relationship, you got to make something that's equitable to both parties. And so what I would say is, seems like 25% is a good starting point for negotiation's sake. How do you get paid? So what I do is normally after we are awarded the contract, or at the time of negotiations, I'll go ahead and get a subcontract agreement with that particular company on that contract. So for example, let's say the contract is $4 million and we estimate that the profit is say $1 million. Then I would go ahead and if my 25% is $250,000, I get a subcontract agreement for $250,000. So that way I was tied directly to that particular contract. And then I would do that with every respective contract moving forward. I like to get whatever my percent that we agreed upon, a profit, we go ahead and estimate that out in the beginning. We're developing a relationship, we're developing a partnership, a team. Again, if the numbers change, then we can change the agreement. But at the very least, whatever we estimate the profit to be, if we estimate the profit to be $100,000 and my portion is $25,000, then I get a subcontract agreement for the $25,000 and we tie it into the contract itself, and we'll put me down as, doing some paperwork or something to that effect. Do I need to be licensed, certified, or registered? No, you do not need to be licensed, certified, or registered, because again, we're using the licensing, the certifications, and the registration of the company that we represent. That's why you want to work with the best people, because why? If you are working with the best, They have all the certifications, they've got all the licenses, and you essentially need nothing. All you need is a little bit of hustle, a little bit of grit, and some motivation. Same thing. Do I need a DUNS or SAM? I would say yes, to get your DUNS number so that you can start building your business credit. And I would also say you can register in SAM. It won't hurt you to register in SAM, and it's very easy to do. I have enough videos to tell you how to do it. So you can, but you don't need these items in order to become a consultant. The only reason why I would tell you to get your DUNS number is, again, like I said, to build your business credit. And the reason why I tell you to register in SAM is so that you can have access to specific opportunities on FedBizOps that doesn't allow non-registered people to see. So just so that you can make sure that you're seeing everything and you get access to everything, the government wants to check you out, make sure you're legit. So I would get registered for that reason, but you don't need it in order to become a consultant. Number 10, what value do I bring? The value that you bring is the fact that, they're not getting these contracts without you. So obviously you're not going to approach a company who's doing $100 million in government contracts. You're going to approach a firm that is, brand new to government contracting. They're great at doing, private sector work and with the clients that they're currently serving, but they don't do federal contracts. And so what you want to do is you want to let them know, you're going to introduce them to that market. Hey, who are you? Listen, I've studied, I've learned the market. I know who the competitors are. I know who the clients are. When you talk to someone and you're talking to these guys, you have to let them know this stuff. If you're watching my videos, you already know how to do market research. You know how to do target market lists. You know how to go to FPDS. You know how to build this stuff up. So you should be confident enough if you've gone through and done the drill, done the exercises. If you haven't, do the drill, do the exercise, or do it at least 5 times, 7 times, 10 times. Do it for multiple industries. Do it for multiple NAICS codes. Do it for multiple states and cities and places so that you can have the confidence when you sit down talking to someone saying, listen, I know the government marketplace. I know who your competitors are. You sell dog food. Let me tell you who your top 10 competitors are selling dog food. Let me tell you who the top 10 buyers are that are buying dog food. Let me tell you the top 10 states where they're shipping dog food at. Let me put you in a position, right, so that I already know, hey, listen, if you don't have a distribution center in freaking, South Carolina, you need to find out who is your rep in South Carolina, because guess what? 22% of all the dog food that's purchased in the United States government is being brought right in South Carolina. We need to set up an office in South Carolina. You can tell people that, and you can show them up and back it up with the information that I've taught you how to do the research. But you've got to do the research. So, these persons, these companies, these entities, which you have to remember, everyone gets really comfortable. If they're doing 30 million a year, 40 million a year, 50 million a year, 75 million a year, they're comfortable. That's how Kodak went out of business. That's how Motorola fell behind in cell phone making. That's how Sony Walkman fell behind the iPod, because they got comfortable. So what happens? The companies that are doing their business, doing their services and providing to the private sector, a lot of times the people in there, they're just go to work and do their job every day. Go to work, do their job. They're not exploring new opportunities. So when you approach them, you come to them with a whole package of information and you say, look, boom, this is what I have for you. And if you show them in a format that you know who their competitors are, who the customers are, who are buying what they sell and where and when they're shipping it, and then on top of that, you pull out now a forecast list to show them what opportunities are coming up in the future, and you're going to tell them who you're planning on talking to, they're going to say, man, why would they not want to hire you? They may actually bring you on board and start paying you a salary to start doing this. You may can actually start getting paid a small stipend for your time that you're spending and helping them to pursue these federal opportunities. But keep this in mind. If you get paid some money, then your percent, they may want to change the percent that you work out for your fees. So just bear that in mind. If you take any money up front, then they may want to come back on the back end and say, well, we are paying you $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. So why don't you reduce your split from 25 to say 20/80 instead of 25/75? So just keep all those kind of things in mind if you do decide to take some money up front. It may not be a bad arrangement for you. I did that. I did both. I did a small fee arrangement and then took some money, then took the percent on the back end, and then I just transferred. Eventually I transitioned to only doing fee-based stuff, which is, what we like to say, you eat what you kill. So that's the value that you bring. But wait, I don't have any experience. Okay, what did I just tell you? You have experience. If you're watching my videos, you're taking my course, you're learning about where the teaming partners are, where the joint venture partners are, how to research the market, how to understand the market. There's nothing that you have to buy or pay for up until now that I've tried to sell you or attempted to sell you to that will give you the experience necessary to be an expert. Okay. All the information that I already have out, all the content as of today. Today is November the 1st, 2017. As of today, November 1st, 2017, with the information that I currently have out available on YouTube and between my course, you have enough information to go out and start becoming a consultant and represent firms. And I feel confident that you can go and do it ethically, and you are a strong candidate for actually bringing real value to a 10, 15, or $20 million company with this information. But you do have to practice. You do have to actually put it in place, not just absorb the information, not just look at it and be, a kind of a passive participant. You have to be an active participant, do the activities, do the exercises, practice the exercises, build yourself a capability statement, learn how that works. Just go through and do some of the exercises so you can gain the experience. So that way, when you're talking to someone, you've got the confidence. You have you're strong and you've got confidence. Why would somebody hire me to be their consultant? All right. Why would they not? If you're telling me you're going to eat what you kill, and by the way, for those who don't know what that saying means, it means if you don't kill, you don't eat. So you're a salesperson, like in real estate. If you don't sell a house in real estate, you don't get a commission. Doesn't matter if you're a licensed realtor, you don't get commission. Same thing. It doesn't matter if you're a licensed general contractor. If I don't fix a home or fix a building or build anything, I don't get paid. The licensing alone doesn't guarantee me work or contracts. So again, you eat what you kill, meaning if you find a contract, you get paid. Who doesn't want to work in that arrangement? What company would tell you, no, you cannot help me to get government contracts? The only reason someone would say no to you is if they felt like in good faith that you could not represent their firm well and they didn't want to tarnish their brand. If you approached the matter, or if you approached the entity and you showed that your professionalism and you showed that your knowledge and you showed that you had some experience of doing, again, not necessarily winning people contracts, because no one's going to say, well, show me where you won somebody some contracts. No. If you show that you have the experience of getting the information, pulling it down, and you're willing to go through and do the work necessary to help them be in a position to get the contract, the only thing that you want from them is to guarantee that they're going to be behind you when it comes to pricing it and putting it, the whole thing packaged together, and they're going to dedicate their personnel and their team to helping you do those things. That's a very small commitment on their part for a potential opportunity to work with the government. 9 times out of 10, everyone that I've talked to, I would say it's like 99.9%. If the entity is not doing government contracts, they want to do government contracts. I have not found one company that tells me, nah, I don't want to do any government contracts. Not one. The only people that I've ever heard say that before, that I've ever heard like remotely say anything to that nature, is they're referring to maybe the local contracts, or they're referring to experiences they had in the state contracts. Because someone told them that, you got to wait for your money and you don't get paid on time and blah, 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 blah. But that aside, everyone's telling me, yeah, we want to do government contracts. Number 13, why would a prime contractor hire me for work as opposed to other companies? This is a question I got from one of my subscribers. Why would they not? Remember, prime contractors, they are companies. They're looking to be profitable. And a lot of times what you'll find is that, they say, they've already got their friends and stuff in place. That's far from the truth. Prime contractors work with people they like, know, and trust who can get the job done. Yes, some people do hire their friends, but those are typically small companies. You think Facebook and Apple and all these big companies are hiring their friends, or are they hiring the best people possible? If their suppliers start getting greedy and start becoming lackadaisical and not meeting performance deliveries, you think Apple's going to keep them? You think General Electric's going to keep those companies? No. And that's what happens. Yeah, a company will get in there and they think they're shooing every year for the contract, and so they get comfortable. But you're going to come in and you're going to offer value to that prime. You're going to offer best value, best service. Price is not always a factor. In fact, in the federal arena, pricing is like, in one of my videos I show you, pricing is only one component of an overall proposal. You have to do lowest price, technically acceptable. So what is lowest price technically acceptable? That means that you want to make sure that company or entity has the ability to be able to deliver on its promises. Again, going back to the dog food example, if you don't have a distribution outlet in South Carolina and this entity needs you to be able to distribute it in South Carolina, if I have a slightly higher price, say 5% higher than you, but I can deliver the stuff to South Carolina in 24 hours or 48 hours, and the government knows that that's how they buy that product, they're going to choose me over a company who can't meet those minimum requirements because for whatever reason, they have to get the stuff there in 40 hours notice, and they don't always have advance notice, and so they cannot risk jeopardizing whatever it is their mission is to hire a company just because they're a little bit cheaper. They can't hire you because you can't meet the minimum times that they need, delivery times. I give that same example in a contract that I reviewed over in Nigeria. Do I need a team? I would say no. And in the beginning, when you're trying to become a consultant, you don't need a team. And that's one of the reasons why I tell everyone, it's not, becoming a prime contractor is not all it's cracked up to be. Being the number one dog, having the contract direct with the government, I'm trying to make money out here. I don't know about you guys, but I thought the name of the game is to make money, is to be able to feed your family and live kind of a comfortable lifestyle. So if that's what you're looking for, then whatever accomplishes that mission is what you should be pursuing. So you don't need a team because you're going to consult it. And you're going to be representing an entity that has a huge team. So the only time, you may need a team is, if you start growing and you start taking on multiple companies, and then also if you start taking on multiple projects, and then you have to help in some other capacities. But in the very beginning, this is something that you can do as a one-man band. You're a one-man army. You can go out and you can be a consultant and represent top companies. Number 15, what about structuring my business and hiring talent to work? Now, this is kind of an odd question that I received. The way I would answer that is this. Structuring your business to me sounds like a formal structure, like a legal agreement, which we talked about. It's forming your LLC. Hiring talent for work, that goes into when you want to actually become a subcontractor, not a consultant. I think people are getting the terms mixed up. When you're looking at subcontractor, a subcontractor would be someone who actually worked directly below the prime contractor. We are only doing a subcontract agreement as a way of getting paid for our services rendered as a consultant. We are not actually going to be providing services or delivering materials or equipment or performing work on that job. So I think that this person was a little bit confused in asking that question. What about structuring my business and hiring talent to do the work? And then someone asked me about outlining the specific steps, becoming a consultant, A through Z, what do you need? So just really quickly, I would say, number 1, register your LLC. Number 2, get your EIN, your tax number. Number 3, get your DUNS number for credit purposes, not really SAM. Number 4, learn about winning contracts via YouTube, conferences, and networking events. Number 5, identify firms to work with. Find the best firm that you have access to. Number 6, negotiate a fee arrangement. You want to negotiate upfront. So that way, you're putting effort for something. Number 7, create government brand, corporate identity for that firm. Number 8, you want to build a target market list. And actually, now that I'm reviewing this, what I would say, I would even actually put, if you have an idea of who the firm to work with, you may want to have the target market list already in place and a forecast list already in place just to actually win them over. Unless you don't need to win them over. But if you need to win over the firm that you're looking to work with, I would already have done my target market list and a forecast list, and I would have on there, honestly, I'd have the top 25 competitors and top 25 buyers of their services. And I would have that list, and then I would also have the forecast list. So that's what I would have available before I even sat down and talked with someone. If you don't know these people and you're trying to get access to them, I would already have together a top 25 competitors, top 25 buyers of their services. I would know how much they're spending. I'd have all their contact information. And then I would go even a step further and have a forecast list of the upcoming opportunities for 2017 and 2018, 2019, whatever's available. All right. So let's say that's what I would do. Moving along, visit your Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Organization, which is your small business specialist. Visit your contracting officer, your COR. Again, these are things I talk about in our GovCon Giants course. Start soliciting subcontractors. I've got an example on YouTube that I'm putting up this week. Start soliciting subcontractors, and I would do that via FedBizOps and what else did I say? Dynamic Small Business Search and Daily Bulletin. based on doing these activities, you'll start getting jobs to bid. And so then I would start working on putting together numbers and stuff with the client firms and understanding, the bid process, right? So understanding kind of like where your numbers are at and start learning the bid process. Again, if you don't start attempting to do some of this stuff, you won't get an idea of where you fall in terms of the numbers, and if your numbers are high, if your numbers are low, if your numbers are good, if your numbers are bad. So you got to start actually bidding jobs, pricing jobs to get an idea of how you guys work together as a team, and so that you can start learning and educating, that client firm, and then also yourself about, kind of where you guys fall into the mix. And then, win a contract. If you are successful and you win a contract, make sure you sign your subcontract agreement for the monies owed for your, your 25% or whatever you agree upon, and then rinse and repeat. I know I'm a little bit long-winded, but I've been receiving a lot of calls, emails, and questions about this stuff, and I hope that today I can kind of like bring it all together and tie it all in and provide some clarity to this mix. I know people want me to make a course on consultant. I may have something after this video just to ask and see how many people will be interested in something like that. But this is, for the most part, here's your FAQ and A through Z on doing a consultant. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you like that video, you like what you saw, click the subscribe button to my left to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, we've got a bunch of goodies for you below at scorecontracts.com/resources. Stay tuned for this next upcoming video.